Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We've got to talk about it. But first, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and share. It really helps the channel out. So BioWare's magnum opus, the Mass Effect trilogy, it surprised me. All three games are very different in their own way and offer a very unique kind of sci-fi RPG experience. In 2007, Mass Effect came out as this sci-fi space opera, offering many different RPG elements and mechanics that spread over a wide variety of planets with a lot of small stories in between. Mass Effect 2 in 2010 offered a more focused yet linear style RPG while offering more character in more focused stories when it comes to secondary characters. Then you have Mass Effect 3, All Out War, and it does what it needs to, have an RPG set in a galaxy at war. Well, here we are again in 2021, and I'm blown away. Now, I'm not actually going to talk about any spoilers because there are a lot of people experiencing these games for the first time, and I couldn't be happier for them. So, I'm going to talk about these games because I'm surprised. Like, we've had many remasters over the years. Many. Some good, some bad. Some have been straight up ports. Some have been fantastic remasters. For instance, Saints Row the 3rd remaster is fantastic. And frankly, one of the better remasters out there. But then we have some ports out there like Prototype, which is literally just a rezzed up version from the previous generation. And then we have really good ones like Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, which offered cleaner visuals, 60 frames per second gameplay, and a more tighter third person camera in Metal Gear Solid 3. Now, these games, three Mass Effect games, have had a lot of work done to them. Visually, over 30,000 textures across all three games being reworked, and the first game has had a lot of love. The first game was always this one where people would say, I want to start the Mass Effect trilogy, but I'm going to skip one because of the gameplay. Well, no need to do that now because they fixed it. The Mako controls really well now. It controls somewhat like a heavy Warthog, but the aiming mechanics are better. Fighting a Thresher more is more fun now because they've added extra game mechanics with fighting tentacles, and just it's just a better experience. The visuals were always a step behind on the first Mass Effect game, but now these games are gorgeous, all three games. And frankly, if you want the full Mass Effect experience, you have to start with the first one, enjoy it, carry forward your stories from one game to the next. And here's the thing, they've made it so seamless. Just start up one game and then you go to the next and load your save, and it's just a great experience. This is going to be the best way to experience the Mass Effect trilogy for millions of people. And for people going back to like me, there's all these smaller things like achievements, and now easier to get because now no longer do you need 7 playthroughs to get most of the achievements in Mass Effect 1. You can just go through and just get them whenever. So easy now. And the quality of life improvements such as the UI enhancement of the first game, it's more modern now. It just works. And I could not be happier. And here's the thing, I would have been the first person to say that there was something wrong with this if there was, but I can't find anything wrong with it. I'm playing it on Xbox Series X at 4K 60 frames per second, and it's just gorgeous. Like, these games, pretty much a decade older, look really good. And like I said, the first game, the whole game has had a complete visual overhaul. These games stand the test of time. And I know Mass Effect comes up a lot in a lot of conversations because these games laid down a framework for RPGs. And the term Mass Effect style RPG came from these games. Now, the first game in particular, like I said, had a lot of work done. The lighting, there's things like higher resolution shadows, and it just works. Like, the game looks fantastic. Planets like Novaria, Feros, there's uncharted worlds that have lush green grass now as opposed to a green texture. And particle effects that you never even noticed before. Character detail that was never there before. In all while holding its original character trait and style from the original release from 2007. And let's talk about the shooting. Look, the combat in the first Mass Effect game was never good. However, in this, they fixed it. There's now hit markers, so you get a well-timed hit marker every time you get a shot off to someone. You can basically do easier squad commands in the first Mass Effect game. They actually pay attention now. Cover works with a lean, not with a button press, but it works a hell of a lot better now. It's just a better experience. Like, as a fan of Mass Effect, the first game in particular is my favorite game of all time, even though I know all the problems with it. But they fixed them. The XP bug where you wouldn't get XP during fighting in the Mako is now fixed. Things like that. Computer terminals now have textures. It's just... I've played a lot of remasters over the years. I played a lot of remasters with reworked textures, ported to new engines, such as Batman Return to Arkham, where even though it looked better, they lost a lot of character that was done in that Unreal Engine 3. With these, you're retaining the character, you're getting better performance, better visuals, and it's just amazing. And here's the thing, I hope this sells well, because there has been mention that if it does well enough, we could see the multiplayer. And Mass Effect 3 always had multiplayer, what no one asked for. Nobody asked for Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, but as soon as they played it, they loved it. And if that comes back, possibly as a standalone, that'd be a fun experience for people, because again, that was basically horde mode, but with objectives, and again, it just works. These games have stood the test of time, and it's surprising, because going through these games again has made me realize that these are better than most releases today. And again, you can tell while playing these games there's been a lot of love and tender care gone into them. Even the elevator rides. As soon as the conversation's done or the announcement on the radio, you just press a button and the game's loaded. Loading into the main save takes about 3 seconds. And if you're on Xbox Series X, you also have 120 frames per second mode. It's quite amazing what they've done in these games, and I highly recommend them. And again, more people need to play them. This is originally meant to be a preview, but I don't know. I just think more people need to play this. This is probably the best remaster I've ever played. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, please hit like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. You'll be notified for my next video. I have a lot more planned coming soon, including the podcast details when they are fully spec'd down. And yeah, I'm out. I hope everyone has a good day. Peace.